I am back from my European holiday. It was awesome, but it rained so much. Spring in Europe, I guess, it can be very rainy, but yeah, this year they all said it's excessively rainy. So here are some photos I have. I'm not 100% sure I'm starting on white daisy cardstock, but I'm putting it here because it's very much easier to look at the pictures when they're on a white background than trying to put them on the black. Um, my boys work on a local farm, and the oldest two work there. And this day, they were asked the youngest to come help as well because they were pouring concrete. Um, if you've ever done that job or know anyone who does it, it's really hard work. And I was really glad they went to do this because you learn a skill and you learn appreciation for people who do this because it's hard work. The reason they could have young people doing it is because it didn't need to be at all perfect because it was for the bottom of a silage pit. That's where, for those of you who aren't farmish, I grew up on a farm. It's where the farmer will keep the feed for the animals, the cows. They chop up hay or corn or other things and make silage, and the cows eat it over the winter. They put it on these concrete places, and they have walls in between too, and they put it there, and then they cover it with big pieces of plastic and old tires, and there it sits for the winter. So if you know me at all, you're gonna know that I was very excited about the new Hello Handsome masculine paper pack, and I thought it would go perfect with these pictures of the boys working hard. The other thing I have is, my love for dogs, but this is the farmer and his wife got a couple of dogs, and he was only going to get one, and he came home with two, and he texted his wife a picture and the word oops. And they are St. Bernard puppies, so good thing they have a farm and lots of space for them. So I don't know if I'm going to put them to the side on their own and put a little note about them or how I'm going to do that, but and I'm missing a photo here. So this is, when I saw it in the catalog and online, I thought this might be a close-up jean, but it's not. It's more like a tweed. And I gutted it out because I was going to start on this as a background. Makers are able to buy bulk sheets of one paper, which is the one that's in the card kit. So that is what this is, and I have a lot of it, so I decided to use it as kind of my background, although I'm just showing about a ½ inch on 3 sides of each layout. The easiest way I find when you're making a layout that's framed on 3 sides is to stick these down to your Versamat, and then you can stick each layer as you build up on top. So this is the white daisy that I'm going to add, and I'm going to ink the edges up. But one tip for if you like fluidity between your two sides of your 12 by 24 layout is don't ink the edge that's in the middle, because that's supposed to be sort of connected to the other edge, right? So I always ink on the 3 sides, but I don't ink that part. So I've kind of planned how my photos are going to be laid out, and this is how I'm going to be placing them. And I figure they need a little pop of a mat or border around them. So I put kind of alternating mats on them in the paprika and in the harbor. Excuse me, I forget the name sometimes. Harbor. Actually, I think this might be peacock, but it matches good enough. I just bought the paprika ink and a paper packet of the cardstock, and I love the color. And I don't have Harbor, so I used peacock ink as well with this layout, which worked just fine. So on the sheets from the card kit, there is the tweed looking paper, and then on the back side is all the little titles and sayings, which make cute embellishments. So originally I put them in that gap on the right hand side between the pictures, but I do end up covering that up to bring the different patterns from both sides of the page. And I like both, but I like it better with the pattern paper. Here I am kind of wanting to cover up that hole that I have there. As I said, it's going to be changed later, but I do leave this little sign there. And I just wanted to make it a bit more substantial, so I framed it in that orangey paprika paper with the words all on it. I also popped the sticker part, that is the little sign, up, and left the paprika backing flush to the page. I had a bit of fun with the title from the scrapbooking stamp set that you can get to go along with this paper pack. I decided I didn't want it all in paprika, so I first stamped it in paprika. I seasoned it well on my arm, and you can see I'm using the back side of the Versamat, which is excellent for stamping because it's kind of a spongy surface. So there I am opening my brand new paprika ink pad, and I'm going to stamp first. Stamp it in the paprika color and make sure you look on both sides through it and on the bottom if it's really inked up well, and then just let it sit there for a second and soak into the paper. And then I cleaned my stamp off and I stamped again on this strip of paper in the Harbor, or I used Peacock. And too many color names in my head. Anyways, then I cut out the word authentic and I put it over top so that I had a two-tone stamp. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can cut each letter out individually and put them over, and then you cannot see any lines at all, hardly. But I just cut it in a strip because once it's under the page protector, I'm not concerned about being able to see it. Another thing you can do is pop up that whole word authentic, so then it looks like it's meant to be, or rather, I guess you're not trying to hide that you have a piece glued over top. But I wasn't concerned about having that piece over top. I think it looks fine. This striped paper kind of ties in all the colors, so I wanted to add some of that in, and then I decided I need to dress up that spot. I had thought about stamping a longer title there, but I kind of changed my mind because I liked how authentic looked, and I just decided I had to dress it up with some paper. So I'm going to put this strip of paprika there with a dovetail, and I really like how that looks, so I decided to add some more strips. But then I remember my little doggy pictures, so I try to work those in as well, which eventually it works out, but it is a bit of finagling to try to get them to fit in there as well. Another tip about the title, when cutting out the word authentic to put over top, make sure you go right to the edge where those little lines, those lines of orange are, and cut the up and down, like by the A and the C, cut those right at those lines, because then the stamped paprika line is hiding the line from your cutting. But if you cut it farther in, then it'll be far more noticeable that you've glued another piece of paper over top. So the piece of paper that I brought in is the green one is pine. Aren't I doing so good remembering all these color names? Anyways, the green one is pine, and the other one is, I think, just charcoal or maybe a little bit of Harbor color to it, but it comes from the mix-in paper pack. So I had the first orange or paprika piece with the wording or lettering on it is cut to 2 inches wide. I'm not sure how long. I eyeballed that. 2 inches wide though, and then the green piece, the pine piece, is cut to 1.5 inches wide, and the charcoal colored piece is cut to 1 inch wide. So this is about the time I remember, oh yeah, the puppies. I really wanted the puppies in this layout because this is the day that the boys showed me the puppies, and I just didn't want to do a whole nother layout about those dogs. So I really wanted to get them on this page. And to me, that's what my scrapbooking is about, is scrapbooking the memories and the photos. So if I have photos that are nice, I do want to get them on there. So I did figure something out eventually, but it takes me a few minutes to kind of finagle it in there. As soon as I laid this down, I realized, oh, why didn't I dovetail it? That would have looked good. But then I realized that if I tuck that piece of charcoal paper a little bit under the dogs, it ties them in better. And I liked how that looked a lot. So I had recorded a video of a travel layout, and I planned to edit that video and voice over some of it in while I was in Europe, and
I just didn't have time and I didn't get to it. I thought that I was going to have a bit of downtime when my husband was working, and it ended up I didn't have much. And when I did have it, I just wanted to just veg and do nothing because I was exhausted from walking miles and miles. So, first world problems, I know. But, anyways, I didn't get that video finished for you. And hopefully I will yet. But I really wanted to do these pictures because I had planned to do these before I left, but the box with the goodies just didn't make it here in time, so I didn't have time to do that. The arrow stamp I just used across the bottom is also from the scrapbooking stamp set that goes with this paper pack. Hello, Handsome. And I will link it down below. Then I did do a little bit of ink splattering because I wanted to I just felt it really went well with this layout, especially with all the mud and concrete splatter that's all over these boys' legs. So I added a little bit to the top and bottom of this side of the layout too, but I really wanted it in the white void space on the other side the most. So what's left now is some finishing touches and gluing down the last bits and pieces. I hope you enjoyed watching me get this layout together, and if you did enjoy it, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and hit that like button that lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content, and it really helps my channel out in the process. I found a couple of words to add in from the sticker sheet. I think it's strong and maybe tough. I'm not sure what the other word is. And this is where I decided I wanted the pattern paper from the other side to repeat. So I covered up those spots, and I do end up liking it better. I will use those little signs, but not those particular ones because I covered them up. But just on this layout, there was enough white. I liked a little bit more color there. So you saw I got my journaling down there, and I found some black acrylic hearts that I glued down with some Barely Art glue. And once that was done, that was kind of the end of the layout. So as I said, I hope you enjoyed watching this layout come together, and we'll catch you the next time. Bye.